Yesterday, I was mastering a record and the kick's tail was louder than the initial trend. This isn't something uncommon, I'm used to this, and the difficult level to manage this is, let's say, 6 out of 10. Nonetheless, when it's just that, it's manageable. However, this kick's particular tail happened to be smack bang on the same fundamental of one of the bass line's notes in the arrangement. And the difficulty level to manage this without requesting remixes is probably 99 out of 10. It's very difficult because they're smack bang right on top of each other and you're working off a stereo file. Then I had an aha moment, a genius way to manage this. So when I finished this master, I got on the phone to Morning Maxwell, who's the artist for this song, and I was excited as hell with how I just managed to pull off this punchy and hella tight master, and told him people need to see this technique. How long do I have to wait until this track drops so I can make a video on it and share it with others? And this was pretty cool because on the phone he's just like, well, the track comes out I think in September, but you can do a video now with it, no sweat. So here's the deal. If you get some value out of this video, make sure you go follow him on Spotify to support the artist. And also while you're at it, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm gods. And don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell notification to not miss more tips like this, because when happy accidents like this happen, I want to share them with you. And anyway, let's get on with the video. So the first thing you have to ask is, why do flabby kicks like this occur in the first place? You know, the ones with the sustain, the wallops louder than the initial transient. Boo-woo, boo-woo. Now, often it's because a compressor's release has been set too fast and it's compressing too aggressively. That tail tends to open up quickly after the compressor's done dealing with the initial transient, and then you get this sort of weird pumping back up. Now, when the kick sustain or tail is in its own space, free of any surrounding bass notes, it's very easy to manage. And I've showed you how to do this in iZotope RX Audio Editor before. You just basically get the highlight tool, go to the low end of that kick, because that's where the low end of that kick is, you highlight it, and then you would just attenuate the gain down. And that's easy. However, what happens when there's bass notes at the same fundamental of where that sustain is in the kick? So I'm going to show you first how I manage this solution with the pumping tail. What I've got here is FabFilter Pro MB, okay? And we know that this frequency here, because it's a bit, what's that time marker? 16.5. Okay, I'll just play these kicks there on their own, which is nice and easy to deal with. That is at, that's right on the intro, at 10 seconds. You can see that sustain there. So I'll play it without anything on it. And we'll go to those first few kicks, because it's the same sample all the way through. And we'll just have a listen to that. It's not tight, it's not punchy, it just pushes out that tail a little bit. And what frequency is that tail being pushed out? If I just move this over for you, 35 to 55 hertz. So 35 to 55 hertz is where that wallop is happening in the kick. Now, let me just open that up a little bit. There we go. All right. So that's where that funny wallop is happening with the kick. I'll use a pretty steep slope here, even though I typically won't use a steep slope with this sort of stuff. So that's where that wallop is happening with the kick. It's going boo, and in those low frequencies, it's sustaining a lot. Now, here's what I did. I got a sidechain key, and there's two ways to do this. The first way is the long, difficult way. The second way I'm going to show you is what I ended up doing, which is the easy way. So what I first did was, I'm like, okay, well, I know that the punchy part of the kick is everything above there. Okay, it's 55 to 322 hertz. So what I did is I created a sidechain here, just filtering that punchy bit of the kick. So basically, if I put this to my output 1, 2, output 1, 2, mute it, you'll just hear the punchy bit of the kick, which I'm going to use to sidechain that compression on the multiband. Nice and tight, just that initial transient. And the reason why I want the punchy bit, not the sustain bit, is because I'm going to slow the attack time. So it's going to trigger the compression, and that compression is going to come in slowly and shave that sustain off the tail. So then that gets sidechained out into Pro MB. We set our key input to sidechain, and then here we go external, and that way when we dial this in, we can actually dial in some multiband compression on that low end there. So have a listen to this. Actually, I better get rid of that output there. All right, so let's just do a before and after then. You'll hear the tail tighten up of that kick. Okay, one moment. I'm just going to, what was I going to do there? Blah, 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 blah. Just change the threshold a little bit because it's a little bit hard there. Let's go -13. There we go. And just make this attack a bit slower because it's killing a bit too much of that initial transient. Beautiful. Okay, so that's the first way I dealt with it. Basically, I created a sidechain and then used the external input to make sure it was punchy there. However, something I didn't realize with Pro MB, you actually don't need to do all that to achieve this. You don't need this sidechain. You can actually make this sidechain inactive and then just use the internal one, but then use this either use the full band or you can use a different band and actually set your own filter for what signal you want to sidechain that band to. And I remember having done this before in mixing, but I didn't even think about it. So all of that was actually just a waste. You can actually just go put that in and then use free mode to filter the section you want to use to filter that, to trigger that compression. And then what you can do is you can actually audition it to make sure you're dialing in the right amount of punch. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play it. Actually, it's probably worth level matching with that in and out. One moment, I'm just going to quickly level match that. So what I've done now is I've level matched the original mix to this compressed low end, compensating half a decibel there, so it's got the overall same loudness. And now we can just enjoy listening to this tune with a tighter kick. Now take a listen to this as it changes, but as we A and B it. And if you want for fun, we can actually just even listen to the final master here. Where are we? There we are. Let's enjoy this master. This is fucking a banging tune. Take a listen to this. On the head, try to speak like I got to lit. I would throw shade, but I never want to sit in it. You trip and can't stop thinking. I feel the top, but I keep on sinking. And they watch me drown, drown in that pussy, yeah. And I don't want the heat no more. So there you go, guys. That's how you can fix your flabby kicks. I hope this helps you with your next project with all this knowledge on low end. Well, not all the knowledge. And if you want even more knowledge, go check out the Mastering for Producers course. I have put together 7.5 hours of mastering knowledge. That's where I get into the nitty gritty. But for the purposes of this YouTube video, I'm super excited to have shared this aha moment with you. If you've enjoyed this and made it this far, leave your favorite audio emoji in the comments. It can be any one of these, and take care.